everyone, Dr. Josh Hand here for Lifestyle Locker Radio and for Healthy Life NYC. This is the Race to 100, episode 115, as well as Lifestyle Locker Radio, episode 155. This is the second to last Race to 100 for the Waiwayanda wonderful 100-mile ultra marathon here in the Northeast. That was in Waiwayanda State Park, New Jersey. So for those that haven't followed this journey, you can follow the journey, all 15 episodes of Lifestyle Locker Radio, the Race to 100. I failed to complete 100 miles. So I want to take you on a little bit of a journey. I want to share what I felt, how I was doing, just some of the prep work and how amazing I feel today, even from failing, and why I failed. So that being said, let's go back. So you've all heard the prep to the race. So Friday night before the race, I was just getting so much stuff done. I was amped up, nervous, maybe procrastinating, doing certain things, but I had everything organized, ready to go. Mostly me, I had to do all of the prep. I made a cool Word document for my team captain, which was my wife, Meredith, and we're going to have her on probably the next episode, possibly, of Lifestyle Locker Radio to discuss a little bit about this, because she was absolutely fantastic and crucial in helping me get as far as I did in this event. So made Word document with all of the details from food to timings to the pace that I wanted to keep, everything, so she could keep track like an actual coach, like an actual person that would keep me accountable to where I need to be so I can complete the event the right way, right? And where I want it to be. I had some goals and some targets, and it was okay if I didn't hit them. It's just to keep me on the best possible trajectory that I could be on. So I know I didn't start with a quote. I'm just thinking in my head. I didn't start with a healthy quote, but I can tell you one of my friends, Tom Dickert, another chiropractor in Brooklyn, he sent me a message on Instagram. We'll get into details about him in a little bit, but failure, he sent me, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was, failure is not failure. Failure is only failure if you accept it as failure, but failure should be a stepping stone towards getting better, towards your success in whatever that may be. So I'm using this failure, I was very frustrated, but I was using this failure now to know what I need to do to complete and crush the next 100-mile ultra marathon. So prep day is done. We got all this stuff done. Leave our house at just about 5:45 in the morning to head to Waiwayanda State Park. Starting temperature about 34 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit. It was chilly, right? Right on a lake. Very pretty scenery, gorgeous. So we started emptying the truck out, started setting up all of the work, all the tables, the food, organizing certain things. My mother-in-law and her boyfriend Sam are there with their truck camper, setting base camp up, if you will. So grateful for them being there as well. My crazy puppy Gunner was there. Made things a little more challenging for Meredith. But everything started to look well. The race team, the crew that set up the event, the New Jersey Trail Series, showed up a little bit late. So they got a little bit of a late start on their setup. And this is an ultra event. This is not like the New York City Marathon where they have, millions and millions and millions of dollars of funding and sponsorships. This is the hardcore of the hardcore, these types of groups that do these things. And I'm sure there are some bigger and crazier ultra marathons that are highly sponsored and highly sought after to get involved in. But knowing this, I just kind of roll with the punches, stay with the flow. But I ended up looking at my watch and going, holy crap, we're starting in 10 minutes. So I just started mobilizing, start warming my joints up, because I knew that if I was going to complete this event, I'm in it for the long haul. So I want to be nice and mildly warm, because I know that first of 3 laps, and I'll explain the laps in a second, would be more or less my nice light joint and muscle warm up. So I'd be prepped for the long haul. So we get started. They say 3, 2, 1, go. Kiss my wife goodbye. We get a start. And, I kissed her before we took off, obviously, because she actually posted a video. But we get going, and we keep a nice slow pace off the start. I really had to mentally decide that, okay, I need to keep my pace calmer than I want it to be, because just the amount of energy that you have, like getting psyched and amped up for doing your first, 100-mile event. For me, it was like bubbling inside. I just wanted to go. I wanted to like shoot out of a cannon and take off at like the fastest pace I ever had. I didn't do that, thank God. But I got running, and me being not the most, we'll say, social person, I ended up, I'm running with a couple of people. I enjoy running with people, and we actually have a bond because we're all running this crazy 100-mile race. And I ended up talking to a couple of people. I wanted to see if these people, as we're going, keeping this slow pace, who's a veteran, who's a newbie, and I ended up talking to this pack. I'm in this little pack. I think it's like 4 of us, 5 of us in this pack, and I'm talking to this one guy who's actually carrying an American flag. I'm like, that's really cool. That's really cool. This is awesome way to start an event. He had a camera guy following him for the first maybe half a mile, quarter mile, taking tons of pictures, snapping him away. And I'm probably gonna end up being in half of these things, but I was standing next to him and talking to him. And I'm like, hey, bud, what's going on? Is this your first ultra? And he's like, no. I'm like, this is not your first 100. He said, no. I'm like, so how many have you done? And he's like, I've done 32. I'm like, wow, that's pretty freaking awesome. He goes, this year. Like, I nearly fell over. And he said 32 100-mile races this year. He said he's done a total of 42. And I'm thinking in my head, how much time and energy that I put into this event that this guy is doing 32 of them in a year, right? We're not even done with the year yet. I'm like, holy cow. I'm like, dude, what do you do that you have the time to train and work out and do all the stuff you need to do to prep your mind and your body for this type of event? He said, I'm an athletic trainer or a trainer. I guess he has clients and trains people. I'm like, okay, well, you're in the right world for moving consistently, especially if you're training people in the running world. So talking to him. I ended up talking to this other woman. I remember her name was Luana. She was 64 years old, and we were talking. She's like, I got to just give you some advice. And I was willing to take anything from these veterans that have done multiple races, but she's done also, I think, a dozen 100-mile races. And she said, if I can tell you anything, start slow, stay consistent. If you see a hill, walk up the hill. On the flats, you can run. And even the guy with the American flag, he said, walk the hills, run the flats, careful on the downhills, but you can move faster if you're able to. So I started to take that into my mind and go, great, I can do this. And there was another woman, Kat, who was her first ultra as well, first 100-mile ultra as well. And we bonded a little bit. We were talking, and she was saying that she's a yoga teacher, and I'll get more into that in a minute. So we get going around. I just had to move a little bit. That's just my mentality. I loved moving. So there were some like very subtle inclines, and Luana kept on saying, you're going to recognize these inclines, these little itty bitty ones at mile 85 when you start to get the Frankenstein legs. And I'm like, Frankenstein legs? What in the world is she talking about? And she was talking about how you actually you get like moving slow, when you're 20 plus miles into the game, or 18, 15, whatever the number is, about at mile 85, things may move a little slower, right? These hills that don't seem like hills are going to seem like, mountains. But I just kept on plugging along. They both slowed down a little bit. I just kept on cruising uphill very comfortably, and they weren't very hard hills at this point. I come around, and Meredith is waiting me for around lap 1. So there's 3 total laps. There was a 6-mile loop, or 3 loops, excuse me, a 6-mile loop, a 7-mile loop, and a 6.5-mile loop. So 1, 2, and 3. I come finishing loop 1, and she looks at the pace chart, and she told me, I stopped very quickly. A lot of the stuff didn't look like it was ready. Gunner was pulling everywhere. So I said, great, awesome, how am I doing? She goes, you're way ahead of pace. I don't remember the exact number, but it was something like, hey, you're like 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it was ahead of where you should be. I think it was something like that. Whatever the number was, I ended up, instead of being at a 14-mile pace, 14 and a half mile pace, I was at an 11. So I was 6 times 4, so I was like 25 minutes ahead or whatever it was. So she's like, slow your pace down. I want you to do the best you can. I'm just giving you the only advice that you want yourself to have. Slow down so you can keep going. So I ended up that next lap, I slowed down for the 7-mile lap. I ended up bonding and talking with this woman, Kat, the yoga instructor. really cool, really consistent. We helped each other keep our pace and keep each other honest with slower up the hills and running down and running flat and being careful, if one of us tripped or whatever it may have been. We bonded for probably about 18 miles. Coming around my third lap, I think we were just shy of 20 miles or whatever, wherever we were, 18, 20 miles. I'm like, my knees got a little twinge, no big deal. Just keep moving through it slowly. Maybe I'm still warming up, whatever it is. Maybe I stepped on a rock and rolled, whatever it may have been. We're running on terrain. This is not a street ultra marathon. This is in rocky terrain, tree roots and stumps and some water crossings and all sorts of different things. Nothing too crazy that's out of the normal for me where I train in Rockland County, aka Rockland County. So we have lots of crazy scrambles where I normally train, and we have a lot of rocky outcroppings and things you're going to be possibly stubbing your toes on and so on and so forth. So wasn't that bad. I'm like, maybe my knees bother me. So I get coming around and I'm fueling really, really well, right? I'm hydrating. So I start my race with about a liter in my back of my race vest, and I start with half a liter of pickle juice and half a liter of electrolyte mix, a company called Gnarly. So I was making sure I was absolutely loaded up on the electrolytes. So in each round, I was replacing my water. I didn't really replace in the back, but I was replacing this 1 liter full. I was drinking a liter's worth of electrolytes, pickle juice, and actual electrolyte mix. Every single round, I was being given homemade trail mix I made, which was all high fat, but it also had dates and it had dried bananas and all these other things so I can nosh, easy to eat. Some dried bananas, some dried coconut strips. I also had a Pro Bar at the one point where I couldn't even eat it. It just like my digestive system was just rebelling against eating the Pro Bar early on in the event. I even had a peanut butter and banana sandwich for whatever lap it may have been. And, again, wrecked my stomach. I didn't end up stopping at the aid station because everything I had and that we made was organic. It was fresh. I had fresh banana as well. What else did we have that was really good? I made some amazing homemade banana bread, paleo banana bread that was high fat, high protein, banana bread with, 4 bananas in it. But I totally forgot to put that on my checklist for Meredith, so it never really made it out. We had it for dinner or dessert the last night after the race. And but going through these laps, carrying all of this fluid and this weight, I'm talking to the girl Kat, but I'm wearing a brand called Ultimate Direction, this race vest. She's wearing a Solomon vest, and hers looks like it was like staying really still on her body when she was running. I was asking her how she likes it. I'm like, how much water does that hold? She goes, well, it's got a liter in the back, and it's got 750 milliliters on the front, or 1.5 in the back and 750 on the front, but I don't have my bladder in the back because we're doing these small loops. I figured we minimize weight. I'm like, that's an awesome idea. So I'm finishing my third lap, running around, and I end up ripping off my my vest and taking out my bladder and just dumping it for Meredith and my mother-in-law and the team to grab. But at this point, my knee is like still annoying me a little bit. I loosen the weight up, keep eating, keep doing all this stuff, take off again on the fourth loop. Come to about mile 30. I'm coming in mile 30, and my knee is killing me. Like, killing me. I was running with the girl Kat, and I don't know what I stepped on. I did something, and I get this, damn. Like this yelp came out of me like a dog that's screaming. And totally, my knee just killed. And right now it still kills a little bit. But, and we were getting ready to go on a long descent, rocky descent, unstable, loose stones, big, not like pebbles or gravel, like stones. And every step I took, the easiest way to understand this, if you were to take a knife, a sharp, pointy knife, right, like something you see in a movie where someone will get stabbed in like a horror movie, take that and hold the torch to it. Let it get fire red. Let it get really, really hot, and then slowly stick it in between your knee joint. That's what the pain was like. So I said, keep going. I'll catch up if I can. So I stumbled and hobbled down this road. I think we still had whatever it was down this road, down the trail. I finished multiple miles after that. I get back to the station, the aid station where Meredith and my mom are, and they're like, here's your food. Did you drink enough fluids? And at that point, I probably ran already 3 or 4 miles in pain, right? In pain and like severe pain. And I'm like, no, I've just been dealing with the pain. Do you want more food? I kept on no. So I ended up just going. And, sorry, this is the best part. So at that aid station, my friend Tom was there, awesome chiropractor, and I was able to get adjusted during the race, which by far we said best biohack in the world. So I got adjusted, was able to take off again, great. And that particular lap, I mean, the pain didn't go away in my knee. The pain was still there, let's just say that. But I just felt a little more comfortable. My head was a little clearer. I wanted to get the pain out of my head. It was my body. I wanted to get out of my head because I don't want it to rule me. So we get going, and I finished that next lap, which ended up being loop number 2, which was a longer loop. And, I came back, or loop 3, whatever it was, I came back 20 minutes faster than Meredith had timed based on my previous lap, which slowed down a bunch because of my knee pain. So she was floored, thought I was doing better, even though I was still in pretty extreme pain. Finished a couple more loops. The last loop, realized it's dark. It's probably about 30 degrees, 35, 36, 38 degrees, whatever it is. I have my headlamp on, gear on, jacket on, the whole 9 yards, gloves. And I get on this trail, I start power walking as fast as I can, because power walking felt better than slow moving because my knees had less of this impact on them from just walking. And so I just plowed through, and I was running with this other guy, Paul. A little older than me, much taller than me. This guy was like 6'4", 6'5", and said he was doing fine. And I pass him on the trail, and he's like, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, my knee still sucks. I'm still moving. So I keep moving, and I don't see him in my back. I don't see the headlamp anymore. I don't see his tail. I don't see any lighting anymore. I'm like, this is weird. So I get about 5 miles into this 6 or 7 mile loop, and we come to this insanely long descent, like crazy descent, crazy, rocky, unstable, really steep trees and stuff. Like, I had to go down like a 99-year-old human being that is healing from like knee surgery. So I was going like at negative miles an hour. And on that last lap, like I was almost in tears. Paul catches up to me. We catch another guy who's going backwards on the trail the wrong direction and send him back on his way. And he's like, man, how you doing? I thought you were doing great, and you were flying on this loop. I said, I was doing okay, still in tons of pain, but I thought I might be able to do it until I hit this downhill. But then him and the guy just took off, and I'm just stumbling down these hills like super, super slow. We get to the flats, and I start moving. I'm starting to get cold now because my body temperature, my core temperature is dropping because I'm not moving as fast. I'm not wearing a lot of heavy weight because you don't need that when you're running because your body is generating enough heat. And, I rustled through my back of my race vest, grabbed my phone, and, I said, I got to call Meredith. So I call her, and it's Saturday night, so it's a football night for her, and she's a Penn State grad. So I call her, and she's like, why are you calling? What's up? I go, how's Penn State doing? She's like, they're winning. Last time I checked. What's really going on? I go, I got to have a heart-to-heart with you. And she's like, okay. And, like, my knee is killing me, beyond killing me. Like, I was wrapped. My friend John even wrapped my knee, who's an athletic trainer, on one of the last loops, on this past loop. Running with this ace bandage over my knee, or around my knee, for a couple laps, hoping it would help a little bit, just support the knee. And I'm like, I'm not doing good. I'm really not doing good. Like, every step is like lightning bolts and sharp daggers through my leg. Anytime I walk downhill, like it's like a shockwave of pain that goes through my whole body. So she goes, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I think I got to call it. I really don't want to call it. I'm like, feel like I'm a disappointment. I feel like I'm letting myself down. I feel like I'm letting everybody down that I led up to this point with, me telling everybody that I will complete this event. And it was heartbreaking. She goes, you'll make the decision when you get in. She goes, just let us know when you're close. We'll meet you at the aid station at the checkpoint here. So we finally get to that checkpoint. I stumble through. I mean, this video of me like hobbling, right? I get in and I'm like, oh, I cross over. I'm freezing. I'm in pain. And the race director comes up and goes, how you doing? So man, I'm like, man, I'm not good. My knee is killing me. He's like, do you want XYZ? Do you want to try this? I'm like, nah, dude, I don't take any meds. But he's like, do you want to rest and see if you'll get better? I got to tell you what, this has been going on. This didn't just start. This has been going on for over 20 miles already at this point. And I just completed mile 52.4 based on my GPS. And he's like, am I going to take the strap off your leg? He goes, are you calling it? I go, oh, I really don't want to. I look at Meredith. Look at my buddy John, who's there as the athletic trainer, who's just showed up. He was getting ready. He was suiting up, ready to go for a lap with me as a pacer. So I feel bad for him for doing that. But he's like, Meredith's like, yeah, you should probably call it. My buddy John goes, you got to live to race another day. He goes, there's a difference between pain and injury. Pain you can deal with when you know you're injured. The smart thing is to get off of it so you can actually do what you want to do again. So I want to thank them for, being my second and third brain right there and saving me from causing maybe a permanent damage in my knee. And, I was so frustrated. They took the band off. I couldn't go to sleep. I stayed awake for hours, helped clean up the whole tent area. I was hobbling around. I was in pain, but I helped clean up everything. Meredith ended up going to bed. I stayed up, hung out with the race director and the guys that are in the aid station, talked to some of the other runners. And it was very frustrating and sad. But I can tell you this is the win, because I became plant-based, mostly about 80% plant-based, as I think most humans way back in history were gatherer hunters. So not that we didn't eat flesh, we ate it less frequently, but I ate a lot of vegetarian type food, like so beans and rice and sweet potatoes and asparagus, everything, right? Tons and tons of veggies. And this race, because I was fueling well, eating well, I wasn't paleo or totally keto or anything, we'll say. But I'll tell you this, out of any event I've ever done, this is by far the most energy I've ever had. I ran for almost, I don't remember the exact number, 13 hours. And I didn't feel tired yet. I know that sounds crazy, 13 hours and not tired. I felt awesome, right? And I was ready to go. Like I could have kept going. My muscles today, so today's Monday that I'm recording this, 2 days after, or a day and a half after I stopped running. And I'm not in pain. I'm not sore. I mean, my knee still sucks. I got an MRI today, which I'll talk about those results when I get them in. But I'm not sore. My muscles are not bad. I feel ridiculously good. I mean, granted, rice supplementation, I can share if people want. I can share my supplementation. What else? Good mindfulness. I probably could have done a little more head stuff than I did before, but I still felt phenomenal. So I think if I tweak up some of my head game and I tweak up a little bit more of my sleep game ahead of time, even though my sleep was pretty phenomenal, my deep sleep, my restorative sleep after the fact, or before the race was really good. If I tweak a couple little things and then work on once we figure what's going on with my knee and let it heal, I'm going to attack another 100 because I felt awesome. And I can tell you this, that I don't know if I'm going to go back to my old ways of eating and the way I used to like look at food. As someone that is like, I feel like I've been like consumed a little bit by the ultra mentality, because for me, it's helped push me a little bit harder and beyond my comfort zone. And I'm like, wow, what's possible? And, I know in this world, like, we're always out to make the world a better place. And I think for me, this is a great place for me, because I think the only way as a society that we get better and healthier is individuals at a time, which become communities, and the communities become bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So I have a lot to offer as far as my knowledge inside this community. And if I can help myself become healthier, stronger, fitter, I'm going to be able to contribute more to the public, to society, to all of you that have been able to tune into stuff like this, because I love seeing people do well and get well. And I'm using this failure of my 104-mile ultramarathon. I completed 52.4, and someone said to me, I was so pissed. I was like, you did 2 marathons in one day? I'm like, huh, okay, I didn't think of it that way. That's pretty darn cool. I did 2 marathons in one day. Got it. I'll take the win. And I came in 5th. I believe it's 5th for the 50-miler, and because they let me chunk down. They saw how frustrated I was, so I DNF'd the 100, but I came in 5th place on the 50-miler, and off to the races again. I'm going to start rehabilitating my knee once I know what's going on. We should have some results very soon. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to share the next event with you and the next thing in life with you. Because what I do is I do know this. I do know there is no quit in me. I do know there's no stop in me. I now truly know that. And I'm going to finish this thing no matter how hard it is, no matter what it takes. And this is how we're going to start to apply things in all of our lives, right? Because failure should be a stepping stone for you, for me, for all of us. We don't just quit when something bad happens or when we're unable to do what we need to do or want to do, right? So the quit doesn't exist. Do not let it live in your life. Do not let it live in your life, because I know you have more. I know you want more. I know you can experience better life and better health. Hence, this is Lifestyle Locker Radio, right? This is the foundation of becoming human-powered and unleashing your true potential, your true human potential. I know you can. I know you will. I know you must. And I'm going to take you on this journey. I want to be like the how do I say this? I want to be like the Yoda for you, right? I'm not the hero. You're the hero. I want to be like your Yoda, where I can help inspire you and teach you, and maybe offer a helping hand when things are tough, and maybe share from past experiences and past failures and past wins and future things, right? So hopefully you've enjoyed this Race to 100. Next week should be the last Race to 100. For now, we're going to finish up, and we're going to get back to some of our interviews, which we've recorded quite a bit. And I know you're going to absolutely love them. And we'll drop in and do some great solo acts. But I'm starting to like doing the solo act from time to time, and I hope you are too. So this is Dr. Josh Shan. I'm signing off. Thank you, Healthy Life NYC. Thank you, Lifestyle Locker. Thank you, Way On to Wonderful 100. And I want to share one last thing. I want to thank a few people. My wife, Meredith, for being an amazing team captain. I mean, she was so good. She was freezing her butt off. She was there. I mean, this is what we call true love. I'm going to cry thinking about this. This is awesome. My mother-in-law, Ginny, and Sam, thank you guys so much for creating a home base and a place for us to be at the event. We were like the coolest race team there, I think, right? It was pretty awesome. I want to thank my friend Tom for coming down. And he ran a half marathon that morning and came out of his way to come check on us and just maybe give us support for a little bit, see Meredith and Gunnar, and I got an adjustment out of it, which is completely awesome. I want to thank my buddy John for showing up. He was going to be there to be a pacer and support crew. Him being an athletic trainer, he helped look at my feet post-race, check out my knee, look at things that were going on. So John, dude, thank you so much also. And I want to thank Energy Bits for shooting me some gear, shooting me some chlorella and spirulina for the race. I did power myself quite a bit with all of that stuff, and I take a lot of my energy is probably coming from the great nutrients from there. So I want to thank you guys as well. And my little buddy Gunnar, psychopath, crazy puppy dog, keeping me inspired. Now that the camera is actually shut off, I want to thank you all for tuning into Lifestyle Locker Radio and Healthy Life NYC, the Race to 100. So wherever and whenever you're listening to this, have a great day, evening, and night. See you soon. Bye-bye.